And so what happened to O'Connelly? Do you know? Is he still kicking or not?
He's still around Santa Cruz, but he's not doing much, I don't think.
Okay.
You know, he was gone out of the country for a while, and he's over there. But, you know, I mean, he's one of the things that I always liked about him was he wasn't, and I suppose it was his downfall call it whatever you want to, and from my point of view, is that he didn't really have much interest in making anything out of it.
Mm.
He had more interest in playing.
Mm-hmm.
And excuse me, that put a real certain amount of authenticity into it, actually.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, but, you know, in the end, what it meant was he's one of those guys that there is almost no record that he ever existed.
Right.
You know, and that's fine. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
When I first got involved in when a student of mine, who very entrepreneurial student of mine, came to me and said, "Hey, let's do a video website where you give guitar lessons and stuff. Who knows if it'll work or anything like that." The first thing that occurred to me was that, you know, I don't care if this works or not. Doing videos of things I've been teaching for my whole life is a great way to kind of like document and kind of justify everything I've been doing, because
Right.
a student would leave a lesson, we could have had a great experience. I mean, I learn generally as much in a lesson as the student does.
Yeah.
You know, and I file it away for the next time I need that. Man, when I said that, those two sentences put together made this click in his head like whatever. And, you know, I'll remember that forever. And the next time anyway.
And you get to find out exactly how well or not well you do play. You know, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I guess I don't really do that very well, do I? I'm kind of sloppy.
Yeah.
You know?
But the exciting thing for me with doing the video lessons was that, you know, all these lessons that a student walks out and basically he just left. We're now in vapor. Everything we just spent a half an hour, 45 minutes discovering together is, you know, left to our memories and stuff
Right.
like that. And now I've got 500, 600, 800 lessons on video of me teaching stuff and explaining things to people that just makes me feel like, you know, here's my own personal scrapbook for my whole life. I mean, it's very cool, you know, and now the fact that people are learning guitar from me all over the world is even cooler. That's just kind of like a separate sideline, you know, but in the beginning I was just thinking, you know, everything I've done, I mean, I've made a few albums of solo guitar stuff, actually 5 or 6, I guess, but they're it's still one of those things where you think, you know, yeah, I could just be vapor tomorrow, and you know, that's what happens to a lot of musicians, unfortunately. You know,
Yeah, no, I know.
they just become memories of the people that were around at the time.
I know, but since you can't archive and document absolutely everything, you have to accept that there's a certain amount of experiential, what am I trying to say? You wind up being a collection of impacts. You as a human being are a collection of impacts. And it's the experience that impacted you.
Gotcha. Absolutely.
Those are what count.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I can watch a movie or read a book about something that somebody did over and over and over and over and over again until I physically die. It won't change the fact that if it's true that somebody actually did that, and that is what impacted those people around them and impacted history.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the impacts that count.
Yeah.
You pass on, you do something with it. I mean, when I drive, I impact the throttle, and that makes the car go forward. And life is like that. If nobody impacts you, you don't go forward. If nothing impacts you, nobody or nothing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what I'm trying to say is it's okay not to have everything recorded.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got so many tapes. Good God, I played somewhere and somebody said, hey, do you want a recording? I said, no.
I've got way too many.
I can't listen to those. I don't care about them.
Yeah.
I have millions of them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I love the Grateful Dead. I really
You don't have every one of their 14,000
No, I don't.
live tapes
They
available?
were a very important band. And,
Sure.
and, you know, musically as well as other things. But most importantly, they made it so that if you didn't, you could be an asshole by not allowing people to record you. It's like, what are you afraid of? What, do you do the same thing every night? You don't want us to find out that you do the same thing every night?
Yeah.
That's usually the case.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, they were obviously not worried about that.
Right,
Because
so
they
once
couldn't
you-
do the same thing every night.
Right, so once you start allowing people to record you, I mean, you know, you make sure that they don't work for some nefarious company or
Right.
something, you know. Most tapers that I've ever run to are perfectly fine. They'll always send you a copy,
You
whatever.
remember Rubber Dubber Records?
No, I don't. But
They
they
were-
will pass it around, and the next time you do a gig over in such and such part of the world, their friends will come see you.
That's right.
And they never would have come see you
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. I think it was Bruce Springsteen or somebody said like that, said something like, says, you know what, I finally knew I had it made when I found bootlegs of mine.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, that was so cool.
I think it's fabulous. No, I think it's
I'm pretty sure it was him that had that.
I really
comment.
think it's fabulous. So what was Rubber Dubber Records?
Oh, Rubber Dubber was a famous bootlegger that put out some. Oh wait, you know what? This is unbelievable. I have one right back here.
You have one.
James Taylor. Isn't
Nice.
it nice to be home
Oh,
again?
wait a minute. I think I've seen that.
Rubber Dubber Records, $6 for a double album. This is recorded, I believe, in L.A. Oh well.
Okay.
We're all going to jail now.
There are those famous fingers of his. Wait, he's got 7 fingers on it. How did he do that?
That was
No
a
wonder.
great picture. Yeah. But anyway, so 2 of my most prized bootleg albums are this one, isn't it? And this came out just before.
That looks totally professional. Look at that. It looks like a real record company.
Yeah, and you know
Real
what?
record
They
company.
had the quality of this is really good. You know how they did this, I'm not sure. I believe they actually had somebody in the hall that had a transmitter that was going out to a truck outside with all kinds of recording equipment in it. They were a slick operation. They eventually all went to jail and things like
They
that.
did. I was going to ask.
That
That seems like a shame.
yeah. Anyway, I have a great.
Ah,
collection
that
of-
really seems
Oh,
like
we
a
don't call these
shame.
bootlegs, by the way. These are imports. Just in case anybody's watching.
For the famous import record label, Rubber Dubber.
Rubber Dubber Records. And one of my other, another double one I have is a Neil Young one called I'm Happy You All Came Down that came out right around the time of his
It's also
Hearts
an
album.
import.
Also an import. Same cover, same pictures actually. Pictures of James Taylor in there. But,
Oh, it's fabulous.
yeah.
No, I love it. I love the way the thing works. You know, you try to commodify, and the world just won't let you for very long.
Mm-hmm.
You might even get away with it for a couple of generations,
Yeah.
but it just doesn't. You know, it just kind of doesn't work for very long.
Yeah.
You know, try to keep it away from people. They'll come and get you.
Yep.
They will.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
The cycles and circles take care of
I've
themselves.
had a great time doing this.
So.